How do I defend myself and my children against two guys who have AR-15s? Tell me how. And you said yourself that the police may not make it there in time. Tell me how.
You know what? The best chance you got in a situation like that is to get out the house.
She just stated that they reach far.
30 rounds a piece? That's 90 rounds of bullets firing through the home.
I can outrun that?
You need to get out of the house.
So that's what we're in for here, okay? Okay, so, you know, if you're getting shot at, obviously, just run away. Just outrun the bullets. What do you mean? And then, you know, there's the stupidity of this. Run where? Run where? Because let's say, you know, usually you break in, it's nighttime. Let's say you're in the bedroom. Okay, where do you run? Because if you run for the door, right, you're going to get shot. The person is coming in through the front door, you know, in the house, presumably. Genius, okay? And then if it's a second story bedroom, which a lot of, you know, 2-story houses, if you have a 2-story house, you mean just jump out the window. Yeah, you don't need to defend yourself. The best thing to do is just to jump out the window. Don't mind the fact you're getting shot at, just dodge the bullets. That is the response, and that's basically what we're in for here. And what you're going to very quickly learn by watching this debate, I think we already knew this, but the entire, and this is not a revolutionary take by any means, I think we all understand this, but the entire liberal position on most things, but especially on guns, is entirely founded off of idiotic, naive idealism. And you'll get into this and you'll see this all the time. Oh, you're getting your house broken into? Just run. Oh, well, but then what they'll also say is, oh, well, that's not going to happen if we have gun control, right? You know, if we just did gun control, school shootings would never happen again. Mass shootings people will never break into houses ever again, which is incredibly naive. It's ridiculous. And honestly, you know, those vague, stupid platitudes are not going to help when the actual intruder is there. When you're actually looking down the barrel of a gun, which I know, again, these people live in la la land. They don't think it ever happens. They're like, that's not real. It's very real. That's the reality of Earth. People are fallen. People are always going to be fallen. You're not going to be able to legislate away bad apples and the bad people in human nature. Just the reality. And you can do things to reduce it, and we'll talk about that in a second. But I mean, like, reduce mental health issues in society. We'll talk about that. But, you know, fundamentally, you're never going to truly be able to get rid of that. And the liberal solution here is, oh, well, if all of my government policies don't work, well, then, you know, it's going to work. It's going to work. No, here's the reality. Here's the reality. When you're actually stuck in that situation, when you're actually staring down the barrel of the gun, none of these platitudes matter. None of this be blank, you know, bull blank matters. That's the reality of the world, is bad things happen to good people, you know? And again, you can be the person who's like, well, it shouldn't be that way, and I'm going to cope and cry about it, and then say, you know, or you can be the person who says, you know what? Reality, nature, I'm not going to fight you. It is what it is. I'm just going to make sure that when it comes to me, I'm prepared, right? I'm prepared. I'm safe. It really is that simple. That's the fundamental distinction between us. And it reflects, in my opinion, a greater sort of aspect of U.S. politics, which is fundamentally what is conservatism about. Conservatism is about embracing reality, understanding to an extent that we can't really change reality. You can't change the way the world. I'm not saying we can't change things about the world, but we can't fundamentally change the laws of nature. And so we might as well just try to figure out a way to live that kind of takes the laws of nature into account and makes the best of them, right? That's why conservatives typically want to bet their sort of ideology on the tried and true, right? The conservatives, they look at something and like, well, you know, if human beings had built successful things on this and survived for a long time like this, then I want to stick with that, right? I want to rely on that. I'm not going to try to just fundamentally change the laws of human existence. Whereas liberalism is fundamentally about what? It's about trying to liberate the human being from reality, right? From nature, from the laws of the nature, from confines of our human bodies. And, you know, what you will find, you know, is that when you try to fight nature, when you try to fight God, it doesn't really work so well, does it? Right? And so you get in this world, and this is just one example. There are other examples: transgenderism, just generally their belief in how things work. And, you know, this is why we often look at liberals and they're so naive, right? They don't know what the heck they're talking about. How are you going to forgive student debt? How are you going to have open borders? You know, all this stuff, right? Fundamentally, the reason that they believe these things and the reason they believe things that are so unrealistic is because they are these naive idealists who think they can, again, just defy reality, right? Defy the laws of nature. And so this is a prime example of that. The conservative looks at the gun situation and says, yeah, it sucks. Our country is violent. And we can just debate how to maybe, try to bring down the crime problem. But fundamentally, the bottom line is violence is a reality of Earth. Violence is a reality of humanity. I better protect myself from that violence, and I better try to protect, others from that violence. So, arm the schools, have cops on the schools, have a gun yourself. That's what the conservative response is. The liberal response is, well, I don't like the fact that the world is violent, but I think I can very arrogantly and stupidly and naively think I can just change the fact that the world is violent, which you obviously can't, right? You're never going to win that battle. So that's kind of the way I don't know. I don't know if that was interesting or insightful or not, but that's, in my opinion, the way in which the gun control debate really, I would argue it's one of the better debates. We don't, it seems very like generic. We do it all the time, whatever. But when you really kind of break down the way that a liberal and a conservative views the gun issue, it really does reflect in many ways the basis of conservative and liberal ideology, right? Conservatism, again, is what? The understanding of reality, the acceptance of reality, and then like what can we do to work within the confines of reality. The liberals say, let's just change reality, let's just defy reality, and that's kind of what you end up with. But anyways, before we continue on here, I think we got a super chat, did we? I believe we did. Burgundy, thank you very much. Burgundy Blue for $5 says, hope you're doing well. How is your voice? I think my voice is basically all the way recovered. It's still a little bit raspy, but it's not struggling. Last week I was like, and then I was nasally. Okay. I'm almost all the way over this cold. I still have the fatigue. It's been lasting for like 2-3 weeks, but I'm basically over it. I don't know what it is. It could be like long haul COVID. I don't know what it was, but I think I'm doing better now. Your thoughts on immigration and types of restrictions for incoming migrants and illegal migrants already living here? Well, I think that we need an immigration moratorium. I've talked about this before. I think it really should be the blanket policy that illegal immigrants here should be deported, right? And you might say, oh, well, it's not realistic to deport them all. I mean, I suppose, but that doesn't mean it can't be the written policy at the very least, right? Written into law. And then incoming migrants, I think they should just be turned away. It's pretty simple. Thank you for the $5, Burgundy Blue. I appreciate it. And if you have questions or comments that you want me to read in between the debate, the super chats are open, obviously. So appreciate it. God bless you guys.
We're confused as to why it happened again, because nothing was done to stop the problem.
I don't think, turning schools into fortresses, having more armed security is the solution here. I'd rather have...
So again, all right, Mr. Let's be nice, Vince. Be nice. Okay. You just finished school. You don't got to be mean to people. All right. Mr. Gentleman here. Then what is the solution, right? I don't think, it's a dangerous world. I don't think the solution, though, is to make a school safe. I think we need to chase these idealistic crusades about changing society and fixing society. And it's funny is they always say that, and then there's like, how can you Republicans look the mothers of these dead kids in the face, blah, blah, blah. I should say that back. You really should say that back. How can, Republicans have been saying what? Make the schools safe, cops in the schools, secure the schools. You're saying don't do that. That's not the solution. How can you then, let's say, the unfortunate case that it does happen, how can you look the parents of a victim of that and lecture them about how, but my idealistic crusade about how we shouldn't make the school safer, we should hire more social workers and sing We Are the World by Michael Jackson everywhere. It actually, it pisses me off a lot. It really does. Because can you imagine that? Can you imagine being, and I hope to God, I pray to God, none of you ever have to go through this, but could you imagine as a parent going through that and then being lectured by this guy about how, I don't think it's the solution. I don't think it's the solution to make schools safer. Yeah, we had a school shooting because the school is a soft target and this violent person chose to commit violence on a soft target. But I don't think it's the solution to put armed security in schools. It's ridiculous.
A part-time school counselor than a full-time resource officer. Because
there are counselors, though.
But are they, like, when you put a police officer in a school, you're creating an environment where you're putting...
There are counselors. That is correct. Lots of schools have counselors. I think every school has a counselor. I never heard of a school that doesn't have a counselor. But anyways, let me rewind real quickly.
Like when you put a police officer in a school, you're creating an environment where you're putting students in jail or in prison instead of going after the problems. Instead of
What the hell are you talking about? Hey guys, Vince Dow here. Hope you enjoyed that clip from the Vince Dow Show. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. And be sure to check out the Vince Dow Show live every weeknight here on this channel at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It is a great show. Many are saying this. So leave a like, check out our other clips, and be sure to check out the show. Yeah. God bless.